Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Last time around we had Notorious Chase, where basically the gang got a plane and headed off to Sardinia, but they were pursued by a death stand, a stand that activated after its user died, which you all know I am against on principle. But it was actually an interesting story. Giorno ended up losing both of his hands. Mista and Narancia also got injured, but without Giorno's hands, he cannot heal them. However, just before he lost his second hand, he did start using Golden Wind's power to transform one of his brooches into a new hand. Trish noticed this, and the stand was still there. The stand made it back to the plane, and she's basically realized that she's going to have to distract the stand long enough in order for Giorno to get his arms back. So, yeah, very, very interesting stuff indeed. With all these parts that Giorno keeps losing, like, at a point he's going to be like the ship of Theseus. Like, there's just not going to be anything left of Giorno himself, you know? Though I imagine he can't have a new brain, you know? Like, that has to be, like, the one thing that stays the same, you know? New body, same brain, though. Anywho. Like always, the reaction is down in the description and in the pinned comments for your viewing pleasure, so let's go ahead and jump right into this episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Here we go. So, man, I mean, what's gonna happen? Because, like, he's gonna go out himself. Is he gonna single out Abbacchio specifically and try to take him out? I mean, Abbacchio doesn't really have a combat-oriented stand. I mean, it can throw a punch, but I don't know. What's he gonna do, man? Alrighty. Alrighty. Spicy Lady. Spice Girl, I'm pretty sure. I think I saw that, so. Why, JoJo? Why do you keep doing this? I hate sentient stands. It doesn't work. The stand is a part of you. It is you. You can talk through your stand. Now, something I can give is that if it is the subconscious, maybe this is where I need to be going, is that I need to make a difference between a sentient stand and one that speaks through, one where the subconscious will speak through. I think at this point I need to make that a distinction to make this work. Because we have had sentient stands, Anubis, which Anubis at the very least did not have a proper user, you know? So that's at least one thing. But Star Platinum has a degree of sentience because, you know, at least some autonomy, because he can defend Jotaro even without Jotaro telling him to, you know? But then we have Act 3. Act 3 is sentient. Just far and away sentient. Bites the Dust to an extent was sentient because Kira did not know what Bites the Dust was doing, you know? Like, whenever the time would reset, you know, he didn't know, like, oh, yeah, I know exactly what happened. Like, he questioned, like, oh, so who was it that got blown up, you know? So Bites the Dust had some sentience. 6 bullets. they're sentient too. The notorious Chase is sentient to an extent. At the very least, it's automatic. You can, I suppose, classify that more under the automatic type stand, which I guess, because sheer heart attack is our best example of the automatic stand, and I guess we can put Bites the Dust in that category. It's just an automatic type. It's not fully sentient. But Act 3, 6 Bullets, and Spicy Lady are all sentient to the point that they have full conversations with their user. And, cause see, I hated Act 3, but Act 3 being sentient was only like half of the problem with Act 3. The other half was it just completely abandoned all the sound stuff that Reverb did, you know? Like, Act 1 and Act 2 was all about sounds and stuff, you know? Sounds or onomatopoeia and stuff like that. And then Act 3 was just, you know, punch and then gravity. And it made no sense, and to anyone who will try to defend it, you can't. And I'm just going to put that out there. The 6 bullets, I will admit that I unfairly like them. Because by my own standards with Act 3, I should hate 3 bullets. And I should also hate Spicy Lady. However, the difference is that Mista and Trish are 10,000% better characters than Koichi ever was. So, yeah. It's the fact that I already hated Koichi, and then you throw in another one, and I hate Act 3, you know? Whereas, I had a problem. With the 6 bullets. Now, part of that, I also gave this was jokingly, but I gave the excuse of, well, it could just be that Mista's crazy. They're not fully sentient, it's just, you know, some other facet of his mind, you know? And now, with Spicy Lady, I will at least say, perhaps it is the subconscious, you know? Like, they will act as a normal stand, but it's the subconscious. It's the subconscious of their brains talking to their consciousness, you know? Talking to them. So it's not really that, you know, it's just another person. It's that it's just a different facet of their mind. And with that, I could accept that. I could accept that. I could accept Spicy Lady, 6 bullets, and even Act 3. I can that fixes half of Act 3's problem. The other half still, you know, makes it shit. Also, its design is stupid. So I can at least give them that. And that is the thing, because the 6 bullets, again, on principle, I do not like it. But I really enjoy what they do with the story, you know? So I will accept, but you know, Giorno, who recently got his stand, you know, like, he said at the beginning, like, only within the last 6 months has he truly awakened Golden Wind. But Golden Wind, there wasn't like a scene where he's like, he shows up and he's like, oh, yes, you know, I'm Golden Wind and here are my powers and blah, and now let's go, you know, make stuff, you know? Let's go grow some plants, you know? And Koichi didn't get that. Koichi got an egg, you know? Like, that's the one thing I'll give to Koichi. It didn't talk to him. He gave him an egg, you know? But once it became a sentient stand, it was like, hey, I'm your new stand. Let's use my power that doesn't make any sense and we can stop Kira, you know? And I know I'm being I'm being persnickety. I'm being very anal about stands. And I know that the entire point of stands was so that Araki could write whatever the hell he wanted, you know? Like, there are no actual rules to stand. And I hate that. I absolutely hate that. Because while, yes, you do have limitless potential, I think that limits your creativity, you know? I think you've actually limited yourself in your creativity, you know? When they can be everything, then they can just be a thing, you know? And I don't think that's good. So that's why I'm so persnickety about these rules. That's, you know, they have to be like something. I always think they have to be something, you know? A lot of times, you know, it's a dude, or in this case, a chick, and they go and they punch stuff. They don't always have to be. You know, there's a lot that are different. But yeah, like, hell, I mean, one of my favorite stands is Hermit Purple. That's not a dude. That's just some, you know, vines going around like Spider-Man, you know? But there are rules. There are very few of them, but there are rules, and I consider sentience a rule. The problem is, this is like the 4th or 5th time that rule has been broken, you know? Because there's the sentient stands, there's the automatic stands, or the autonomous stands, and then there's just normal stands, some who can also have a degree of autonomy, you know? But even still, because at that point, once they develop sentience, it's like, oh, it's just a Pokemon. Whoop-de-doo. Like, because that's the whole thing. And that's not even a great comparison, because at least with a Pokemon, the trainer is still the one who, you know, says what to do, you know? But I don't like a sentient stand, because then it's just, you know, it's just the automatic win button. It's like, oh, I don't have to put any thought into this, because what do I care? My stand will figure something out and do that, and I just have to, you know, show up and look pretty, you know? And I don't like that. I don't like that. That being said, if this doesn't continue too heavily with Trish and her new stand, I will be okay with it. If this was just a thing because, you know, we had to introduce, you know, how she gets her powers, how she, you know, gets her confidence up and everything as a stand user, sure, you can do that. And at the end there, it seemed that, you know, she did have her confidence, she did come up with something, and Spicy Lady did something. What did she do, anyway? I'm really not sure what she did. I don't know what she did. I don't know what she did. She did like this, and then it fell. I don't know what the hell she did. I don't know. Bucciarati still lost his arm anyway, so I don't know what she did, but good job. She did something, so good for her. And yeah, she at least did it. You know, it wasn't Spicy Lady telling her like, "Hey, let's do this thing," you know. And even when it's like, oh yes, well, I have figured out now, after your blunder and going to the closet, I know how to defeat it, and now I will defeat it, but then it comes back anyway, so it's not like this stand is all-knowing or anything, so I will let it go for this episode, but I don't want to see this again, young man. I don't want to see this again, young author, young Spicy Lady. That sounds weird. How old is she, 15? Wait, she's 15? Fuck, I'm 10 years older than her. Oh, that's weird. Yeah, that's weird. It gets a little creepy when you're... It gets a little... It's... You can't really waifu someone when you're 10 years older than them. I say that like you degenerate weebs out there don't do that anyway for girls who are far younger. Yeah. Also, nobody bring up me watching MHA, so... Meh. Anything else? I love that they didn't actually, like, kill it. It's just stuck in the ocean now, you know? Like, that's really funny. I like that. That it's just... Yeah, it's just watching the waves forever. And if a boat ever comes through, it's basically the Kraken, you know? Like, that's really funny, actually. Kind of weird. Like, you'd think you might want to do something about that, but what the hell can you do, you know? Like, it's not like... And it's not like we can call them the Speedwagon Foundation anymore, you know? Without Jotaro, there's no Speedwagon. But what would they even do? Like, how do you contain something like that, you know? Honestly, the only other thing you could do is if, you know, it's like, oh, it's so invincible, throw it into space, you know? Either you throw it into space like Cars, or, you know, if it's very similar to Yellow Temperance, actually, except there's not a user for you to beat the crap out of, you know? But yeah. And then the boss was already in Sardinia. I don't know how the hell he got there so fast. But the boss was already in Sardinia. And yeah, he's got to be sure that Abakio never gets to that spot, because if Abakio can get there, he can use Moody Jazz to rewind it. So that's interesting stuff. Man, I gotta say, Moody Jazz, that's up there. I don't know if I gotta figure out, like, what are my top 5 stands, but Moody Jazz is pretty far up there. It's just so cool, even if it's not, you know, it's not maybe the most practical, I would say, even with its incredible power. Like, how often you would use that, I'm not really sure, but it's just so interesting, you know? I love stands that have, like, a utility purpose, you know? And, like, one that could be useful in everyday life. Now, Moody Jazz isn't quite there, but Hermit Purple, Shining Diamond, you know? Excuse me. Stuff like that. Like, if I got Silver Chariot, like, whatever, it's a sword. What the hell am I going to use that for in my everyday life, you know? Or Golden Wind, to an extent, I can see... I mean, if you're like a florist or something, yeah, Golden Wind's going to be great. You just go and grow flowers just from everything. That'd be great, you know? You'd be like the world's greatest florist or botanist, you know? But other than that, I don't really see Golden Wind doing too much. Like, maybe if you're like a doctor, if you're, you know, helping people, you know, giving transplants or something, throw that in with a bit of Shining Diamond, you could actually be pretty good doctors with that. But yeah, I don't know. So, I mean, that's kind of, but I like a stand where it's like, okay, how could this be useful in everyday life? And if they're very useful, and Shining Diamond is very much up there, then I appreciate it a lot more. So, this one, Spicy Lady, it's an interesting ability. I haven't really talked about that, but it's an interesting ability, making things malleable and like super durable too. That's really cool. Very similar to Gentle Criminal's quirk, you know, and I really like that. So yeah, that's interesting. Real world application, I don't know, but if you had that, that's a pretty decent power to have, you know? So, yeah. And I would love to see Trish, you know, bouncing around like Gentle Criminal, because he got so good with his quirk, you know? So I'd love to see Trish getting that good with her stand. Granted, she just got it, so it may be a little while, but yeah. So there's my weekly JoJo rant, as always, but, man, it happens. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. If you want to watch more of my JoJo's Bizarre Adventure reactions, you can click on the playlist. There's also another video. Yeah, God, I've forgotten everything. There's links on screen. Go click around any of those. See you guys later.